Do you want to learn where to start when you're looking at your natal chart and how to read it? Well, this video is for you. If you don't already know me, I'm Ev Zervadakis, and we're going to take a look at exactly where to start to avoid any confusion that you may have had. So let's look at this round circle, which represents the sky at the moment of your birth or at any time. So how we read the chart would be at this big fat red arrow. I have a little purple one here too, but the start would be right here, and this would be called the ascendant. We start at 9 o'clock right here, and then we move counterclockwise like these red arrows. Each house is numbered over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 12. The wheel represents the sky. Okay? Any questions? Put them in the comments below. So we have a start here, which is also called the ascendant. It's at 9 o'clock on the clock position, and it goes counterclockwise, so you know, and it represents the sky. Okay? Now, this circle here has a lot of information on it. We start with 360 degrees. That's just basic geometry. And the circle starts again at the same spot. 0 degrees is the natural wheel. So for education purposes only, the natural wheel is where you start to learn astrology. When you get your natal chart, that will look a little different. And I'll show you the difference. Now this circle with all the different colors on the outer rim is the sky right now at this moment in Virginia Beach. You notice that the outer wheel has the signs, and then inside these segments are houses numbered 1 through 12, just like what I just showed you previously. But then you have the scattering of the planets and the signs. So I use the Koch house system, which is not a whole house system or equal house system where it would start at 0 on the ascendant. So the ascendant here is 26 degrees Libra, 39 minutes. Now we'll go back to the presentation of the learning natural chart. So at this position here is 0 degrees, and this position here is 90 degrees, 180 degrees as we go counterclockwise, and 170 degrees. Each little hash mark here is 1 degree, and actually it's 30 degrees total. So there should be 30 little hash marks. So each house, each sign in this demonstration of the natural wheel is 30 degrees, which is not the case in your natal chart. So in astrology, we have houses that are divided up in 12. In each house, you have a sign, and there are 12 signs, and they're all in here in the gold inner circle. Each sign is divided into 2 building blocks, a modality, which is in the navy blue circle, cardinal, fixed, or mutable, and it goes around cardinal, fixed, mutable, cardinal, fixed, mutable, cardinal, fixed, mutable. In the building blocks of each sign is also an element. The elements are fire, earth, air, water, fire, earth, air, water, fire, earth, air, water. Most everything goes counterclockwise, okay? So each sign, as I will repeat, has two components, two building blocks, a modality, which is the navy blue circle, and an element, which is the beige background circle. And the gold is the sign. So we could break it down further and look and see Aries is a fire cardinal sign. Aries is a fire cardinal sign. Get it? Taurus is a fixed earth sign. Gemini is a mutable air sign. Cancer is a cardinal water sign. You notice this is the second cardinal sign. You see that? And it's in water. Leo is a fixed fire sign, which is the second fire sign. First fixed fire sign. Okay, first, there you go. Virgo is a mutable earth sign, and it's the second earth sign, and it's mutable. The first fixed sign is earth. The first fire sign is cardinal. The second fire sign is fixed. The second cardinal sign is water. The first cardinal sign is fire. So the modalities are rotating, and so are the elements. So learning the elements and the modalities, which are the building blocks of the signs, and if you learn those keywords and what it means, you will get a real good understanding of the signs and the houses, and we'll get to the ruling planets in a moment. It's best to learn this whole area of the natural astrology zodiac chart, because then you're learning what the house energy feels like, what the building blocks feel like, what the sign feels like, what the associated planet feels like, and the associated geometric relationship, which is an aspect, which is an advanced concept for you that are beginners. But if you're not, then you know that a conjunction, which is 0 degrees, is equivalent to that energy of the first house, Aries fire cardinal. I hope this makes sense. I'm breaking it down as if I'm talking to a 5-year-old, because astrology is super complicated, and I've been doing this for over 55 years, and this is the easiest way to learn it. Repetition, 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 and breaking it down to the tiniest parts. So the next sign is the 6th sign of the zodiac, which is mutable earth. Virgo, mutable modality, earth sign. Like I said, the second earth sign now, but it's mutable. It's not fixed like the first earth sign, which is Taurus. However, it's the second mutable sign, but it's in earth. The first mutable sign is in air. I hope you're getting the hang of this. Everything from the first house to the 6th house in astrology is considered personal. This is all personal, and the planets associated with these signs are considered personal planets. There's tremendous order, organization in astrology. It's very accurate too. It's very mathematical. And mathematics is very accurate when you do it right. So let's go back to Aries and look at the symbology here. This is the symbol of Aries, and this is the symbol of its ruling planet, which is Mars. Taurus's symbol is right here with the lavender arrow, and it's Mercury. Sorry, my bad, which is Venus. Venus is the ruling planet of Taurus. It's also the ruling planet of another sign, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And Venus, Taurus, the Venus position is the day Venus, and that is not the brightest. The other Venus is the brightest in the sky. The next sign is Gemini. The symbol is here, represents 2, and the ruling planet is Mercury, which is also associated with another sign that we'll talk about in a second. The fourth sign is cardinal water, Cancer, ruled by the moon right here. And here's the symbol. The fifth sign is Leo, ruled by the sun symbol. And here's the symbol for Leo, fixed fire sign. And then we have Virgo, a mutable earth sign. The symbol here looks like an M with a curl on it. And it's ruled by Mercury. Mercury is a very quick messenger type planet. When we look at the 2 Mercury ruled signs, Gemini is air, immutable. Virgo is mutable and earth. Gemini is quicker to process information than Virgo because air is lighter and faster than earth. However, Virgo is the fastest of the earth signs. And the one we already spoke about is Taurus, fixed earth. They could be stubborn. That energy could be stubborn. So we have now all the personal signs and the planets that are associated with them. In this video, I will not discuss the aspects because it's advanced and I want to keep people happy and engaged with me and to avoid confusion. Let's move now to the more social part of the chart in the natural wheel, which will start with the opposite of the first house, which is the 7th house. And that is cardinal again. So if the first house is cardinal, whatever's opposite is going to be cardinal. Those are the rules. The modality is the same, but the element is complementary and not the same. Libra is a cardinal air sign with the symbology of Venus here and the Libra symbol here. And Venus is the night sky Venus planet. It's the night planet, and it's brighter. Of course, it's brighter because there's a higher contrast and it's at night. Seventh house. The eighth house is represented by Scorpio, opposite the second house, and it's a fixed water sign with the symbol of Pluto, the representative planet, and the symbol here for Scorpio. Fixed water, opposite fixed earth, Taurus. Second house, eighth house. So whatever meaning is in the first house is going to have a shared meaning because they're just opposite ends of the spectrum, but it's the same sort of path. Keep that in mind. So when you're reading a natal chart, you have to look at the opposite sign and the opposite house because it gives you more answers and they work together. For example, the first house has to do with yourself, me. This is who I am. This is my appearance. And the seventh house is opposite that. And it's the people that complement you, the types of people that will complement you, the best people for partnership, spouses, relationships. And it's us, it's you and me. Second house is my things, my possessions, where opposite of that is shared resources and possessions. You see? And it's fixed. We kind of like to hold on to our possessions. And when it comes to sharing, that could be rough. That's why Scorpio, Pluto, eighth house has an interesting vibe to it. There's a lot of psychology behind it. It goes to the roots of the issues. Let's move on to the ninth house, which is ruled by Sagittarius, a mutable fire sign. And it is the third fire sign and the third mutable sign, ruled by Jupiter. And here's the symbol of Sagittarius. Opposite the third house, Gemini, mutable air. These are mutable. We're not going to get into what it means, but just so you understand how you read a chart, where you start. You start by understanding what this wheel is and how it's made up. Because if you don't know the mechanics of the wheel, you'll never be able to figure out your astrology chart. Now, the 10th house is cardinal, again, opposite the fourth house, and it's earth and cardinal, ruled by Saturn, symbol right here, and there's a symbol for Capricorn. 10th house, opposite the fourth house. The 11th house is opposite the fifth house, fixed air, Aquarius. Here's a symbol for Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, opposite of the fixed fire sign of Leo. And the last house is the most mysterious. It's the invisible world. And it's the 12th house, ruled by Pisces, water immutable, the last of the water signs, the last of the mutable signs. And we completed the different cycles. There's cycles of modalities, cycles of elements, cycles of signs, and cycles of houses. And Pisces is ruled by Neptune. So that is the whole zodiac, each house and sign in the perfect world of the natural zodiac has 30 degrees. So each section is 30 degrees. If you have two of these together, it's 60 degrees. When you have three together, it's 90 degrees. When you go all the way across and look at a hemisphere, which is the northern hemisphere, this is not a typo, that is 180 degrees. This is nighttime in astrology world. This is daytime in astrology world. This is the eastern horizon when you were born. So the moment you were born is right here, and that will depend on whatever time it is, right here. But in the natural wheel, this is daytime and this is nighttime. This is sunrise. If this is sunrise, this is sunset. If this is noon, this opposite down here, which is the IC, is midnight. I hope you've learned where to start now with the astrology chart. You must start with the understanding of the astrology wheel. It has 360 degrees. It's a circle. Each degree also has 60 minutes. And we'll look at that with a natal chart. But before we can look at a natal chart, you must understand that a natal chart represents the sky the moment that you were born. It's based on the theory of the zodiac. The natural zodiac is here. These sequences in the natural wheel never change, and they have a sequence that they follow in a precise order. When you learn the chart, that's how you do it. You start here at 0 and you work your way around counterclockwise. Now, in the zodiac natural wheel, the houses are equal, but in your own chart, because there are many different house systems, we're not going to talk about that, but there are. We're going to understand that the houses can vary. So you can have more than one sign in a chart house. You could have parts of 2 signs or even 3 signs in a chart house. But every sign has 30 degrees, whether it's in your natal chart or not. Hemispheres are half of a circle, a sphere, 180 degrees. Now, the last thing we're going to say for reference is each 3 signs is a quadrant, which is 90 degrees. So we have the first quadrant here, which are the first 3 houses, the second quadrant, which is houses 4, 5, and 6, and the third quadrant, which is 7, 8, and 9, and the fourth quadrant, which is 10, 11, and 12. Now remember, every hemisphere has a definition. Every quadrant has a definition with keywords, not just one keyword, multiple keywords. Why? because we're trying to translate the language of energy, frequency, and cycles. It's an abstract thing that we're trying to put into words. Hot chocolate. What does that taste like? Can you describe it so I could taste it? It's difficult. You could say it's hot, but there has to be context to it. If you don't know what hot is, you can't understand hot chocolate. If you never had chocolate, it's hard to understand the flavor of chocolate. You see? That's why astrology gets very complex, because we're describing energies and frequencies. And to make things even more interesting, these key words, so the signs, the planets, the houses, which are the three big components, we're not going to talk about aspects, also are like a coin. So they're flat and they have a coin. So it's like, this is a coin. So you have a negative and a positive, a negative and a positive, negative and a positive side to each sign, house, and planet. So you're going to say, well, wait a minute. You mean there's two ways of looking at the different components? Yes. Free will is what you have and how you could maneuver your chart. You don't have to work with the negative energy of a sign, a planet, or a house. Just because that energy is there in your chart, you could move to the more positive side. But you may have been born with or had negative parents where you had the negative vibration of it. But it doesn't mean it has to stay that way. I practice Western evolutionary, holistic, healing type astrology because the chart is meant to help you heal. And in the past, in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, some astrologers were psychologists, like Carl Jung was a psychologist. A lot of these books written during that time frame, the astrologers were clinical therapists, counselors, psychologists, and psychiatrists. So they used the tool of astrology to help their patients. This is an interesting time where non-psychologists can read the chart without that psychobabble in it. But by nature, astrology in itself is a psychological type tool. Okay? If you have any questions, feel free to email me. If you like this video and you know other people that might benefit from it because they may be confused, learning astrology has to be taught one-on-one with someone that knows the craft. You cannot Google astrology to try to figure it out. You'll have a hard time and you'll be confused and frustrated, like many of my students were before we started working together. If you love this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't want to miss another one of my videos, because I do these in between my clients, my number one priority are my clients. So during break times, I create content for you. I write books and newsletters, blogs. Feel free to check out our website to get more information. I'm more than happy to help. Thank you again. Until the next time, I look forward to seeing you. Stay safe, my loves. Bye bye.